kinesiology. This is very, yeah. This is applied kinesiology. They do it a lot. Just pushing down like that. And you're not trying to kill each other. But it's measuring a difference in the postural muscles and in the internal makeup of the subconscious and how it's reacting and able to stabilize itself, right?
You know, my mother, I'm not saying I necessarily believe the same thing too, but my mother actually does this, you know, she says, well,
right.
Should I do A?
Or should I not do it? Right.
You know, that kind of stuff. And, you know,
to try to read her own subconscious.
That's right, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it goes back to what we practice. In the Buddhist world, you practice what you actually are doing, you're physically doing in the world. You practice what you're speaking. How you speak affects everything. What you think affects everything. So the practice of what you're doing with your brain over and over again. If you took 10 minutes a day and just said, I'm just going to take 10 minutes a day and be grateful. We all got something to be grateful for. And no matter how bad. You're going to find 10 minutes and just do nothing but, boy, I'm glad about this. Boy, I'm glad I got my good apples. I like apples, and I'm really glad I got them. Boy, it's wonderful to have good friends come around. And you just sit there and in a reverie, spend 10 minutes a day doing nothing but grateful. And do that for, I don't know, a while. Because it doesn't do fast. It takes a little while. Maybe a year, 6 months, some period of time. Or, and you take a second person, and their job is to take 10 minutes a day and just complain. There's always something to complain about. Life's full of complaints. You're going to sit there and practice complaining. Damn it, I hate this shit. This is pissing me off. And you get to the end of the training period, whatever it is, a 6 month, year, whatever, you give it a long period of time, it will have shifted and distorted things in their life and will have had profound effects. Because they're practicing just in their head, where they put their mind over and over and over and over again. Somebody has done, 10 minutes of gratefulness a day that they wouldn't have otherwise done is going to wind up at the end of a year in a completely different psychological place than the person that's been investing in complaining, investing in minus instead of plus. And the physical effects are there. The physical effects come out of our bodies because our bodies are like a mirroring function of our subconscious mind. Some people say they are our subconscious mind, but really what we think of as a subconscious is really all the neurons that are floating around all over your body. The conscious mind kind of lives up in the frontal lobe, and the rest of your mind is not just the back of your brain, but is all the neurons everywhere. The neurotransmitters in your heart and your gut and up and down your spine and through all the nerves all the way down to your tippy toes.
I heard that somebody claimed that subconscious mind is 1,000 times more than conscious.
Well, it's huge. Come on, bro.
Which means, of course, that what you choose to focus on is like 1/10 of 1% of what's really out there, and so you have a choice about what you focus on.
Right. And so back to Ueshiba and Daita and Takeda. Back to those guys. Takeda and his paranoid negative thing lived in a world full of complaints, lived in a world full of problems. He was practicing fighting enemies all the time. He was practicing conquering the enemy and subduing the enemy and holding power over the enemy. And Randori to him, if we could even use that kind of terminology with him, probably didn't exist. It was probably Shiai. He probably didn't have anything that we would think of as Randori. Because every encounter with him was an aggression, an enemy. He had to conquer. He had to put him down. And he had to get the money out of him some way or shape or another. That was just his functionality. That's what his life was. That was his internal psychological makeup. And that's one that we carry into the dojo sometimes ourselves. We get into Hen Randori or we get into training and we get in a goddamn fight sometimes. They get me and we're in this big struggle. Because we have our own internal psychology we brought in with us. The chaos is not what he's doing. The chaos is what I'm bringing with me. It's chaotic enough dealing with him. the relationship of two bodies and two people. But wow, when your own psychology is coming in on top of you and causing that distortion effect, worse. Ueshiba had his transformational experience, and he took this positive thing to the nth degree. Aikido became a representation of prayer, of shamanic energy engagement, of a philosophy of love and universal positive engagement with all humanity, the whole world at peace. I mean, he basically, his internal energy that he brought into his body to play with was well, gratitude's a good starting place. So if you're doing a release, and you set up in your mind, or you're doing hand randori, and you set up in your mind that when they begin to do something to you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You'll manifest a completely different feel out of your body into his body than if you're like, no, 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 no. What did the two feel like?
Yeah, there was a difference.
Yeah.
First one,
Right.
it kind of felt like falling into a pillow. And then the next one, it kind of felt like I was falling down a hill.
Rocks.
Yeah.
You're bumping into rocks. And I want you to experiment with this. I want you to do the plus and the negative thing and the neutral thing, because in real world, often all we are able to summon up is neutral. We get into that Zen place, and they're coming to attack us, and we just have zero in our mind, and that's neutral. And neutral's pretty good. Neutral can work. I can talk to you and not pay too much attention and get too consciously involved in trying to beat on him, and just be kind of neutral and do very, very well.